Hello guys and welcome to my channel. My name is Roman and I'm a professional high-end retoucher. This channel is actually in Spanish, but I have been requested by so many of you guys to do videos in English. So down there I'm going to drop the link to the playlist where I'm going to be putting all the videos that I make in English. The playlist is going to be called English or English tutorials or something like that. This is not my first language, as you can tell, so bear with me. I'm going to try to do my best to explain everything that I'm going to be explaining in these videos from now on. And as you read from the title of this video, I'm going to be explaining the dodge and burn technique from beginning to end. This is not going to be a 2-minute tutorial where I'm going to quickly explain the technique and something like that. Like, no, this is not the video for you if you're expecting that. I'm going to explain the technique from beginning to end, and not only how to do it, but the whys behind all this, the things that I do, because that is really important. And I consider that a real professional should know why you're doing certain things. Also, a lot of people always ask me about classes, like retouching classes, so I'm gonna leave the link down below so that you can go to my website if you're interested in learning high-end retouching one-on-one. I'm gonna leave the information down there so you can go to my website and check it out, because I also have been asked so many times about that. So definitely I'm gonna drop the link down there so that after watching this video you can go and check that information out. I don't want to talk anymore and I'm gonna start with the video right now. So the very first thing that I'm gonna be talking about is the retouching tablet. You try, this is the one that I use. It's a pretty basic one and it's so cheap, but it does the job. Like, it's really helpful for you to have one of this. It's not the same working with a mouse rather than working with a tablet, with a retouching tablet. You need to get yourself one of these. It's like a before and after, you know? It's so different, and it's gonna make your work easier. You're gonna save up a lot of time, and also the final result is gonna be really good compared to the mouse. So I highly recommend to get one of these. I'm gonna also drop the link down there to the one that I use so that you can go and check it out. They're not so expensive, of course. There are different kind of prices out there on the market, but you don't really have to get the most expensive one, but with the basic one it's gonna be just fine. So after that long but very important introduction, we're gonna go to the computer and then we're gonna start working on the image. Okay guys, so this is the picture we're gonna be working on. This picture is by Jad. I'm gonna link his Instagram down there so that you can go and check his work out. He's an amazing photographer from Canada, so thank you so much, Jad, for letting me use this picture for this tutorial. So what I have here in this group is the liquify and then the cleaning work. The healing and cloning is in here, so that's what you got to do first. You got to take care of that first, and then you are gonna start working on the dodge and burn technique per se. Okay, quickly before we start with the technique, I wanted to explain why the dodge and burn is the best technique out there in the market when it comes to skin retouching. So with dodge and burn, we're working with lights and shadows, which makes a lot of sense because photography is light. So we are not changing the pixels, the original pixels of an image whatsoever. So that's why this technique is so good and it's not destructive at all. With frequency separation, it's a little bit easier to retouch pictures and a little bit quicker, but it doesn't give you this high-end professional look like that I guess you guys are looking for, and you're going after that look. So that's why I don't really like the frequency separation technique that much, because you're changing the original pixels of the image. But the dodge and burn technique is the best and the one that you have to learn by heart. So after explaining that, I'm gonna teach you how to set up the layers for the dodge and burn technique. Okay, so what we're gonna do here, again, don't care about this layers because this is my cleaning, this is my texture work, so you have to care about that. Okay, so we're gonna go down here to the adjustment layers and we're gonna create 2 adjustment layers with curves. Okay, I'm so sorry that here is my Photoshop is in Spanish, but I'm pretty sure you will understand what I'm saying. So I'm gonna name this dodge, and then I'm gonna name this burn, and then I'm gonna put them into one group. I'm gonna select the two of them and then Control J, and then I'm gonna name this Dodge and Burn. Always, guys, try to keep everything really organized, and if you want to be a retoucher, or if you're already a retoucher, try to keep everything organized, because it's gonna be easier and quicker for you to work on your images. And if you have to change something, you're not gonna be like looking through all the layers and so on, but instead you have everything organized and named, so that it's gonna be really easy for you to find things. So yeah, I'm gonna come here, I'm gonna double click on this layer, and then I'm gonna pull it up a little bit, and then I'm gonna press Control I to invert the mask. Then I'm going to the burn, I'm gonna pull it down, and I'm gonna hit Control I to invert the mask also. So here we already have the Dodge and Burn folder with the layers already set up. So what we're going to create now, for us to be easier to work with this technique, we're going to be creating some helper layers that are going to get rid of the color. Rather than focusing our attention on color, we're going to just get rid of all of it, and we're going to just see it in black and white, so that it's going to be easier for us to see the transitions and so on. So what we're going to do, we're going to go down here to the adjustment layers, and then color uniform, maybe is in English, I don't know, but I'm gonna click on that, and then I'm gonna get rid of the color. I'm gonna make it completely black down here. I'm gonna press OK, and then I'm going to go to the blending mode here, and I'm going to color. Okay, so I'm gonna put it up here. Okay, so what we already did is getting rid of the color so that we can see lighting and shadows transitions better. A lot of people, what I have seen a lot is that they use a black and white adjustment layer, but that's a no. Why? Because a black and white adjustment layer, what is targeting here is the colors, like the reds, the yellows, greens, cyans, and blues. So we are not working on color here. That's why we don't need this, and that's why I always tell people not to use this layer. So instead, we need to make it black and white completely desaturated. So make sure not to use this one, but to do it as I'm doing it right now. Again, we're not gonna be working on color, but instead we're gonna be working on lights and shadows. The next thing that we're gonna do here is creating another layer, which is gonna help us a lot, which is gonna be the grain layer. So we're gonna create another layer here. We're gonna go to Edit, Fill, and then you're gonna put it in 50% gray. Okay, so it's gonna be 50% gray. The mode is gonna be normal, opacity is gonna be 100%. Okay, it's getting really difficult for me to read in Spanish and say it in English, so bear with me, guys. I'm gonna press OK, and then I'm gonna go to Filter, Noise, and then Add Noise. So you're gonna be adding a noise around 20, almost 20, something like that, and we're gonna press OK, and then we're gonna go to the blending mode, and we're gonna just hit soft light. So what is this grain for? This grain helper layer is gonna be actually helping us not getting distracted by so many details that the photo may have. You don't want to get distracted by all these little details, because if you don't use this grain, you're gonna be seeing a lot of details and a lot of things that necessarily you don't have to get rid of all of the things in an image, otherwise it will look really flat. So with this grain helper layer, it's gonna be easier, way easier for you to concentrate in these transitions rather than just getting caught up in these details and so on. So this is another must-have for you when it comes to helper layers. I'm gonna do one group of these two. So we're gonna name this helper layers, and then finally I'm going to create another helper layer. It's going to be a curve helper layer, I'm gonna go to the blending mode, multiply, and then I'm gonna do something like a nest, like a curve, like this. This is not going to remain like that. I'm gonna be moving this curve a lot, but this way, as you can see, you're seeing the transitions a little bit better, so that it's gonna be easier for you to know where to use the dodge and where to use the burn. So these helper layers are great for you to be able to work easily on your pictures. So that is it for the setup of the layers. We're gonna start right now with the brush settings, which is really important. We're gonna hit B for the brush. So we're gonna work with opacity 5. This is going to vary a lot depending on the part that I'm working on, but normally I start around 5 and 4%. And I'm gonna leave the flow to 100%. Some people work with flow and they leave opacity at 100%. Some people do it this way, some people do it with a flow. It doesn't really matter. For me, I think it's easier and I like it with opacity better. But if you want to work with the flow, it's okay also. So you do you, boo. You do what you feel most comfortable with. So I'm gonna right click on the picture, and where it says hardness, you're gonna have it in 0%, and then the size is gonna vary depending on the zone that you're working on. So what we want to do with this technique is actually try to make these transitions. I'm gonna show you here in a layer. We want these transitions to be a little bit smoother. Like for example, here, all of these parts, we're gonna be targeting all these parts, and we're gonna make them a little bit softer. Again, we don't want this to be completely flat because it would look really weird. But we want to have this natural high-end look to the picture, so we gotta just take care of these transitions to make everything a little bit more like way softer and a little bit smoother, which is the look that we're going for. Okay, so all these transitions you gotta take care of when working with the dodge and burn. Okay, so we're gonna go again to the dodge and burn layers. I'm gonna click on this dodge and burn, and then I'm gonna start working on this image. Okay guys, so I'm gonna do it in real time. And after I explain how I do this, I'm gonna fast forward videos, otherwise it's gonna take a lot of time for you to be in front of the computer. Like watching this video is gonna be really annoying, but I'm gonna explain what I do in real time, and then I'm gonna do like a time lapse of my retouching of the whole face. Okay, so I'm gonna go opacity 5%, flow 100%, right click, hardness 0%, and then I'm gonna start working on this picture. I always try not to get really close when I do this. I always try to keep it as zoom out as possible, because so that I can see what the face looks like. If you go really like all the way in like this, first of all, you're gonna be distracted with all this detail, and you're gonna try to get rid of everything which is not necessary. So that's why I always tell people to zoom out, and when you have to go like really close to some details, it's gonna be easier for you if you have worked before in a general way. Okay, so as you can see here, this part is a little bit darker than the rest, so I'm gonna use the dodge layer to lighten that up, to make it a little bit smoother, the transitions. So that is what I'm doing here. I always try to use both layers, okay, because a lot of people use mostly dodge, but I always try to use both. So here is a little bit lighter, so I'm gonna just start making these transitions a little bit smoother. As I said, I'm gonna be changing from layer to layer like this. This is basically what you will be doing to the whole picture. The size of the brush is gonna obviously again vary a lot depending on the zone that you're working on. but I always try to make it fit the size of the zone that I'm working on, if that makes sense. I really, oh my gosh guys, I really hope that you're understanding and getting what I'm saying, because doing these videos in English is like, oh my god, it's so difficult for me, but I'm doing my best. So I'm gonna show you the before and after of all of these things that I have been doing here. This is before, the after, before, the after. Notice that I haven't changed the opacity yet. Maybe in this zone I will change it a little bit, but I'm not sure. But you will see it, okay? You will see it later if I change it or not. I'm gonna turn off the helper layers right now for you to see the before and after. Look at the forehead, before and after. This is basically what you guys have to do throughout the whole image to get that look that we are looking for. So right now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna retouch the whole face. I'm not gonna do the chest because it's not gonna be important for this tutorial, but I do feel like doing the whole face for you guys to see what I would do to the whole face. So I'm gonna fast forward this video and I'll talk to you guys later when I finish. Also guys, what I always recommend is that you can rotate the canvas so that you can work easily on the picture. I always do that by tapping R on the keyboard and clicking on the image and going left or right depending on the zone that you're working on. Okay guys, so this is the picture already done with the dodge and burn. This is the picture, this is the before and after, before and after, before and after. And as a side note, you saw that I was playing with curves, which is what I normally do. Like I always play with curves, like maybe I'll do them brighter, a little bit darker, and then with those curves adjustment layers, I'm able to see and to toggle all the things that I have to do to the picture easily, okay? It took me around 30 minutes, maybe a little bit more. But again, I only did the face, like I didn't do the rest of her body. That's what you gotta do to her whole face and body and arms. And yeah, I mean, if it's a beauty shot, it's only gonna be like the face and then the hand and so on. But yeah, then again, this is before and after. You see, this is a really good technique. The look is really, really natural. You're not changing the pixels whatsoever, so that's why I really love this look so much. And yeah guys, that's it for today. If you like this video and it was helpful for you, drop me a comment down there and leave me a like because that helps my channel grow a lot. And also follow me on Instagram because I'm really active on there. I'm always trying to post new content, and I'm always responding and talking to you guys on DMs and so on. So make sure to follow me up there, and of course make sure to follow Yats the photographers. If you guys have any questions or comments, just leave them down there. I'm gonna be making more of this content, more of this kind of videos in the future. So yeah guys, that's all for today's video. Thank you so much again for the support, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.